So just who is Yevgeny Prigozhin? Some know him as Putin's chef, others as a warlord in Africa, or Russia's most powerful mercenary boss. But what really is his story? And why has he turned against Russia? How did he become so powerful? As he vows to topple Russia's defense leadership, what will be the Wagner Group's fate? Our next report telling you all about it.
This is the story of Yevgeny Prigozhin, a high-profile, provocative mercenary leader. He's the boss of the private Wagner Group, which has been fighting Russia's war against Ukraine. His story in Moscow dates back decades. Prigozhin comes from the same hometown as President Vladimir Putin, St. Petersburg. While Putin rose from KGB insider to Russian leader, Prigozhin served a decade-long prison sentence that started when he was 18. Why was he put behind bars? For robberies he carried out with his friends. Once he was released, Prigozhin started out modestly, selling hot dogs. The year was 1990. The Soviet Union was in its death throes. St. Petersburg was on the brink of monumental transformation. Great riches awaited those shrewd or violent enough to seize them. Prigozhin had his goals set higher than fast food, and he knew how to get there. He quickly began racking up clout in the hospitality industry. He first opened a wine shop, then a restaurant. By the time Putin became president, Prigozhin was helping serve his state dinners. This earned him the nickname Putin's chef. Putin helped Prigozhin open a school lunch factory on generous state-funded loans. Prigozhin also owned at least part of Concord Management and Consulting. In March 2014, when Russia annexed Crimea, more new opportunities arose for Prigozhin. Putin denied that regular Russian troops had been involved in the annexation. Kremlin began to think how to make a stronger case. And this is what it came up with. It looked for private military groups to do its dirty work, despite it being illegal in Russia. Several groups appeared that seemed to coordinate their actions with the defense ministry. They operated at an arm's length from the government, but they wreaked havoc all the same. Prigozhin's Wagner Group became the most prominent of them. By 2015, his companies had won major contracts worth more than $1 billion to feed its army. Prigozhin's swift rise to power started to irritate some officials at the defense ministry. And as his operations expanded to other countries, the tensions only grew further. By 2018, Prigozhin's activities had spread to at least 10 countries in Africa. He offered security and arms training services, secured mining rights and other business opportunities. Prigozhin ran this worldwide network from an office in St. Petersburg. This wasn't far from the place he had started his restaurant 2 decades ago. Although he had no official position, Prigozhin was now a frequent attendee at high-level meetings related to defense contracts. He became a tool for Putin to meddle abroad while denying any involvement. It was Russia's invasion of Ukraine when denial went down the drain. In September 2022, Prigozhin announced triumphantly that he had founded the Wagner Group back in 2014. The admission came after a viral video showed him inside a prison. Inmates had assembled as he pitched the opportunity to fight in Ukraine. Take a look.
40 человек зашло в окопы противника, вырезали его ножами. Было 3 погибших, 7 раненых.
Prigozhin told the prisoners they would probably die at the front. But if they survived for 6 months, they would be released with a full pardon and paid generously. Prigozhin's ambitions kept growing. Now, well over a year into the war, they've gone through the ceiling. He had started raging against Russia's defense ministry. At times he said they were trying to steal his victory. At other times, he questioned their leadership. And now he claims the Russian army has killed his troops. Today, the residents of southern Russian city Rostov-on-Don woke up to Wagner militia taking over the main street. What is it that Prigozhin wants exactly? Revenge for his troops allegedly killed by Russian soldiers. He wants to oust the military leadership. He had said that 25,000 of his fighters were moving towards Moscow to restore justice. You see, Wagner Group is openly rebelling against Russia. Putin has strongly condemned it. He has labelled it treason and vowed harsh punishment. Now that Wagner is on shaky ground, many questions arise. What will happen to Wagner units? What will happen to the mercenary group's overseas commitments? How many African countries will now pull out of the Wagner contract? Earlier in February, French President Emmanuel Macron had pointed towards this ticking bomb. He had described the group as life insurance of failing regimes in Africa. He said that African nations would eventually stop turning to Wagner as it only sows misery. Has that time finally come? Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the updates on the move.